What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to the Successes Within Reach podcast. I'm your host, Shannon Smith, and welcome to episode 10. Man, episode 10. Someone needs to hear your story. Once again, someone needs to hear your story. This episode is for everybody and anybody that's been through anything. Understand there is someone in this world that needs to hear your story. Everybody can learn, grow, develop, and evolve from everyone else's story. I got two dynamic gentlemen here with me this evening. We got first up Christopher Ray Coleman. He's the founder of the Health is Wealth Nation. He's the author of the 180 Effect dynamic book, and also Hustle Healthy. He built his first six-figure business at 23, ladies and gentlemen, 23 years old. But due to recent collaboration, he's now the director of a health and wellness national basketball academy sponsored by Under Armour. So let's bring up first Christopher Ray Coleman. How you doing, sir?
Doing great, man. Appreciate you taking the time to add me on and invite me to this episode, man. I'm excited.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And next up, we have a returning guest, Mr. Roderick Dockery, aka RJD, the Imperfect Gentleman. He's a writer, motivational speaker, a host of the Imperfect Gentleman podcast, and a young man's life coach. Welcome back, sir. How you doing out there?
I'm blessed and highly favored, King. What's good out there, man?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Doing good. Doing good. Want to remind everybody before we get started, you can join in the conversation and submit your questions and comments at www.facebook.com/SIWR podcast. One more time, www.facebook.com/SIWR podcast. And with that, let's get into it. First up, tell us a little bit about your story that led you to write your first book for Chris and start your first podcast for RJD. And Chris, we'll start with you.
Okay. Well, yeah, my story actually started. My origin story always start. I actually just turned 30 last month, November 16th. So when I was 22, I started out homeless. It was really a decision. I had to emancipate myself from, a bunch of safety nets. A bunch of, excuses I had. My family, where I live. My dad doesn't help me. There's all kind of stuff. I'm short. I had every excuse in the book, and but when I, became homeless, and it wasn't like a tragic, like under a bridge, cardboard box. I was, hopping couch to couch, sleeping out in my car. I worked at the YMCA, so I had a place to shower. I was a key holder there. But I just needed to, like I said, emancipate myself. And I found that once I got to that position, I was like, oh man, everything's on me now. Like,
Mm-hmm.
like I don't have anybody else to blame. So if everything's on me, then I'm gonna make sure, I rise to the occasion, and then and progress.
All right. Seems like we lost Chris there. It might be his connection. So RJD, we'll start with slide it over to you. Tell us a little bit about your story that led to you starting your first podcast.
Well, my first podcast I ever started was called the Start Now podcast, which I actually keep going now. It's a recurring podcast every Friday, and it fits the name, right? I had to start somewhere. I was making a lot of excuses in my life about everything, and how you do it, how you do something is how you do everything. So I found
Mm-hmm.
myself really procrastinating on everything. Even if I said I'm going to go to the bathroom, I'd wait, right? Like I'd literally wait and procrastinate everything. So one of my good friends, who's my co-host now, Swiss Mahogany, he said to me one day, like, why don't you just do it? And I didn't know what he
Mm-hmm.
meant. And then actually called me on Instagram Live one day and was like, so here you go. You're on your podcast. Let's go. And that's how Starting Out podcast actually began.
Nice. 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 Chris, can you hear us now, sir?
Yeah, I'm back. Can you hear me?
All right, there you go.
There we go.
Welcome back. Welcome back.
My
All
apologies.
right.
I don't know what just happened right there. But yeah, I basically about to pick up, once I started to take that stream ownership, everything just started to flow in life, had my favor, And I started a sales job. Next thing you know, I built a six-figure business. I passed 6 promotions in 9 months. Became a district manager. Built a six-figure business, and after that, I just wrote about it. I wanted to share that story of what happens when you start to, like I said, take that supreme ownership in your life.
Nice, nice,
Are
awesome
you, are you talking
story.
about this book right here, sir? Are you talking about this book right here?
I don't know. I think we're talking about this
Oh
book.
yeah,
Oh,
man.
this is
Yep.
what we're talking about. This is what we're talking about.
We go.
Okay,
There we
okay.
go. My people. My people.
Yes, sir.
You
Yes,
already know it.
Yeah.
sir.
You already know it.
All right. The next question we have is, what was the light bulb moment that made you feel there's someone in the world that needs to hear my story? We all face adversity. We all, have to overcome barriers and hardships. So what was it, that finally hit you like, boom, everything I've been through can't be for nothing. Like somebody needs to hear this. Somebody can grow from this. So what was that moment for you? RJD, we'll start with you.
I'm gonna be completely transparent. That's how only way I know how to be. And for me, it was a selfish moment. I needed help, and the only way I could
Mm,
express myself was to be online and tell and just get it out. It was more
mm,
therapeutic for me just to speak about what I was going through and just get the things I had on my chest off. And when I realized I had a following that wanted to hear it and they could relate, I knew at that point is when I knew I had to keep this thing going and help the people I was serving.
nice. Chris, what was that moment for you?
And the light bulb moment had to be John. Sometimes when you in the storm, it's hard to notice the progression. So
Mm,
I tell people all the time, you either in a storm about to go through one, even one. So like I finally left that current storm life. I looked around like, oh man, like I did it. Like I haven't got to that next level that I really wanted to be in life, but I was like, oh man, like I did it. I actually, and now I can look back on it and reflect, and I know the steps. I know the decisions I made. I know the sacrifices I made, and somebody needs to hear this. Somebody needs to know this. That was in the position I was, because I didn't have anybody, like me when I started, and was kind of starting that storm, if you will. So I just want my story and testimony to everybody else that was going through it.
gotcha. All right. So next up, help us understand the process that you went through, and starting your podcast and then writing your book. From the idea stage into actually putting it down on paper, saying, okay, this is what I'm going to do. This is how I'm gonna map it out, all the way into actually finishing it. So walk us through your process for it. RJD, we'll start with you.
Um, first for me, I'm not. Well, I just took my disc assessment recently, so I know that my I and my C is extremely low. Anybody that knows. So when it comes down to organization and systems, I'm terrible with it. So for me,
Mm,
it's about following my heart and my moments and where and leading, going where I have the unction to go. You know what I'm saying? Following those things that call you, right? So if I feel something in my spirit, I just do it when I have it. So if I feel like I have an idea for a podcast, I write it out. You know what I'm saying? Like
mm,
I feel like I have inspiration for a live or something that can turn into a podcast, I'll go live right then and there. I look
mm,
for inspiration, right? So basically, if I'm inspired, I live on it. I go literally how I feel. I write down everything. That's one thing I've learned to do over the last two
mm.
years is write everything down. I'm
Yep.
36 now, so my the old ticket don't do all it used to. You know what I mean? When it comes out of memory, you know what I'm saying. The motivation is starting to go slim on me, but
Mm.
I definitely make sure I write my stuff down so I can execute it. That's the biggest thing.
Gotcha. And like, where do you draw your inspiration from for your topics for your podcast? Do you just go off of a vibe, or do you go based off of what your following is asking you about, or sending you messages about, or like I said, is it just a vibe off top of the dome?
Honestly, it's a blend. It's a blend of a few things. What I do is I reach out to my followers that I know, my core followers, and I,
Hmm.
and I do like a normal every so often a question like what do they want to talk about, and then I basically go off my real life experiences and things I'm actually physically going through at the moment or just now gotten through. One thing I learned that our testimony is somebody else's therapy. You know what I'm saying? And we overcome through the. Hold on one second, okay? I heard one of my kids in there screaming. Now they're in there playing or crying. And what daddy
Oh,
do
good.
those times, man.
Oh man, are you back with us, Chris?
Chris is struggling this one right now. I think it's something going
I
on
think he
in
went
there on the
back out
side.
again.
Yeah, I think
Gotcha. All right, so our next question is: explain the self-reflection and vulnerability that comes with sharing your story over the air, in your podcast, and how has it allowed you to evolve?
All right, well, this is real time. Like, I love when you ask me questions that are actually something that just transpired, like literally 2 nights ago. Anybody, this is a shameless plug. If you want to see one of the most transparent moments of my life in real time, go to my page, rjd.imperfectgentleman on Instagram, and watch my last IGTV. I had a brother by the name of Dewan on my podcast, and he literally touched parts of my life that I had no other choice but to address, and it freed me as an individual. So one thing I learned, that my transparency is continually to evolve me, as well as help people around me, right? Because that's why we're here. We're here to make sure that we all get to another level together somehow, some way, some shape, form, or fashion. I realized that my transparency is somebody else's miracle, right? That's their hope, because they realize, like, oh, if RJD can do it, I know I can do it.
Nice. So how would you say, doing this podcast and being able to share your story and your life with others has helped you to evolve?
Oh man, that's light years, right? Like, I tell you about it. I've grown 10 years in 2, right? My evolution has literally sparked the growth for people around me. Like, it's crazy because now I truly believe with that old folks used to stay in church, right? Like, I got a Pentecostal background. They used to say, well, there's no way you could be on a road with somebody and they feel the spirit of God and you don't feel it. So I'm the same way now. Like, I'm on fire for business now. Like, I'm on fire for everything to do with my brand and my movement. So if you get close to me, it's like getting to a fire. You're gonna get either warmed up or you're gonna get set afire if you get close enough.
I heard that, and I've definitely heard that from the elders before. I think all of us have had an elder or two that have gave us that one.
Facts. That's the whole fact.
Real quick, I want to shout out Mike Williams and Jay Allen and Coach Love out there. I appreciate your comments. Comments.
Bless up, guys.
Right. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, I'm your host, Shannon Smith, and you're here on the Successes Within Reach podcast with RJD and Christopher Ray Coleman. We're going to take a short break and we'll be right back. I'm ready to get the ball. All right. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to episode 10. Someone needs to hear your story. Next up, I'm going to ask RJD, share with our audience what an imperfect gentleman is and why there's a need for coaching in this space.
I love it. Yo, I've learned that if you want to get somebody excited, ask them to talk about themselves. Because I get excited when you actually talk about this. All right. An imperfect gentleman is one that understands his imperfections. Is not an excuse to stay the same, but it's a reason and a definite cause for change and growth, but not for himself, but for his family and his community. An imperfect gentleman is one that knows he must strive for excellence in everything he does. He's not looking for perfection because he knows he is not that, but he's looking to strive to be perfect one day at one point in time.
Yes, sir. Man, oh man, that's a definition for you, man. That is a definition for you. All right.
Shout out to Coach West if you help me with that. Coach West, you're the best. You heard?
What was your first realization that your story was not only reaching but seriously helping someone else, and how did it make you feel?
Yo, Shan, you got some dope questions, King. Damn, that's a dope question. All right, so I was actually about 5 years ago, right? I've had a following of my friends on Facebook my whole life, just about ever since social media came out. So my close friends and people who went to high school with me follow me, see my story. Gentleman I went to high school, we wasn't really close, didn't really talk too much. We talked in passing. He got in my DM one day, and he's like, "Bro, I've seen you with your family. I see you just had a kid and all that stuff. Congratulations. Can I talk to you for a second?" So I say, "Sure, we could poly. What's up?" And he was in a situation was he had just gotten this girl pregnant. You know, he had just got with this girl, and not too long after they got together, they got pregnant. He got her pregnant. So he was in a space where he was confused, scared, nervous. You know what I'm saying? All these just uncertain, right? We've all been there as men. You know what I'm saying? Not saying we've all been there as having a girl pregnant and all that, but we've all been in a place where we're unsure about ourselves, or uncertain about situations. So he reached out, and in that moment, it was just a natural thing. Just me sitting there talking with him and building with him. And my biggest thing with him was, are you happy with the decision you just finished making? And if you are not happy with this decision, you're going to have to verbally explain this to this young lady. And then you guys are going to have to make a decision from that point on, what you're going to do from there. But what I said you cannot do is you cannot run from your responsibilities. You have to man up. You have to deal with the situation you created. And then we asked a few more questions, and I just beginning to ask him more questions, and he kept spilling in and going a little further. Long story short, a few months ago, he called me back with he DMs me a picture of his beautiful girl, his beautiful wife, and they had gotten married. So that moment for me was he wrote me back and saying thank you for that moment of conversation, because it set the course of my life for me. So it wasn't until just recently that I realized, like, yo, this is what I love to do. Like that, his testimony to me was bigger than any paycheck that anybody can give me, and that's how I knew that this is what I'm supposed to be doing in my life.
Man, oh man, that's all right.
Yeah,
Like
man.
it's always a a kind of crazy moment when you first realize that what you're putting out there in the atmosphere is helping somebody or changing someone. A lot of us, that are coaches, consultants, and whatnot. We put a lot of content out on social media, but it kind of make you stand back, like, whoa, when you get that first message, like, oh man, thank you so much. I was going through such and such, but you posted this, and this, and it helped me so much. Like I remember going to a conference one time, and this young lady that's a coach was saying that a young girl DM'd her one day and was saying she was about to commit suicide until she saw her post. And I was like, yeah, I don't know what I would have did with that. Like,
there's a real world out here, man. Like, we don't realize, like, people are really on the edge right now. And me and my wife was just saying this earlier, that in this space right now, in this COVID-19 space, people who are single and like who don't have family that they're constantly around, like me. I have my son and my daughter and my wife in the house constantly, so I'm never really technically alone. But my accountability partners and my business partners, some of them are actually living alone, and they don't leave the house for weeks on end, right? So it starts to play on their brain, on their mind. So it's like you gotta find a way to keep your sanity in all of this. And you don't realize a lot of people are sitting home dealing with themselves for the first time in their entire lives. Think about that.
Yeah.
Somebody who's 40-something years old just now starting to deal with the issues that have been staring them in the face for all these years.
Yeah.
They might need help. You know what I mean?
And it's one of those things, like when you start to come to the realization that your content is helping people, it's motivating people, it's giving them that boost, it's helping them start that business, it's helping their relationships. It's a whole nother feeling, man. Like, what I'm doing is really making a difference, because sometimes people feel like, oh, I'm just posting just to be posting. Yeah, some people like it, some people share it, but you never really know who it's actually impacting. But once you start realizing that your content is impacting people, or your courses or your books or your podcast, like, man, it's one of the best feelings in the world, man. That's why, I feel like this topic is so special, and telling people the importance of sharing their story, because you never know who out there is going through what you're going through, or is struggling because they've been where you've been, and we all can help each other out in some type of capacity, so I think it's
just
really
like we
huge.
said just like you said last night, somebody out there is listening and waiting for your story. Like, and you can't be so caught up into it thinking it's about you, because I'm being very, very transparent. For so long, I was selfish enough to believe that my life was for me, right? Like, I believed that what I was going through was because I needed to go through it for my own personal selfish needs. In all actuality, we go through things so we can help somebody else get through them. And that's really the reason why we go through anything in life. It's to help man.
Yeah, some of the greatest moderators and authors in this world have some of the most tragic stories.
Absolutely.
People that have been through different types of abuse, people that have gone through horrible divorces, people that have gone through, terrible car wrecks and all kind of stuff, house burned down, lost everything. Like, you just never know what's behind a person's smile, or what's behind the platform that you get on social media or on the television. Some of those people have horrible stories, but it's because they earned those lumps and they overcame those barriers, that now they can stand before thousands or millions of people and motivate and inspire the masses, like never before. Like, I remember the first time I heard Oprah's story, I was like, Jesus, no wonder she got a platform trying to help any and everybody that she can, man. Like, you just never know what someone's been through.
And that's a I'm glad you said that too, because today in real time, another great instant, what you say about not knowing what somebody's going through. I went to go buy some pizza today, right? And while I was buying the pizza, I was outside and I was on the phone with my mentees, and a gentleman was outside talking reckless to a woman, right? Now, anybody who knows me, you're not going to do that in my presence. I'm not standing for it. So I got off the phone. I said, "Young king, you're gonna have to watch your mouth in the presence of a woman while I'm around. It's not all right." And he snapped back, right? He what you say, and went on his whatever he was on. Dismissed it, got the situation cleared up. But then I got in the car and I said to myself, I don't know what that young man is going through. Like, I don't know was he abused by his mother? Was he left by every female in his life? Because those things could be the reason why he's acting a fool out here in these streets, right? Or does he have a father to show him what life is about? Is he lacking? Where's the lack at? Where's the self-love at? See, all these things we have to address before we go off the hinge. Now, and be in a completely transparent mode, I wasn't this calm when he told me to go F off. I definitely wasn't.
Oh, no doubt.
I had to realize, number one, I have my own logo on my chest, and I'm about to get physical and violent. Definitely not a good look. So I had to realize too, like, this young man is hurt somewhere. It's not about me, right? A lot of times we get in situations or circumstances and we think that, oh, it's because of something about to do with me. Nah, in no actuality, that situation he has a problem, right? He's hurting somewhere. He's lacking self-love somewhere, because if you have self-love, you won't degrade somebody else. It's not something that you want to do.
Definitely. Let's see. Next one I got for you is, what doors have been open for you as a result of sharing your story and in turn creating a business outlet from it?
Put it like this, man. I wish I'd opened my mouth a long time ago. Yo, if I'd have known the bag I got right now, I could have got 5 or 6 years ago, man, I'd have been talking about behind off. You hear me? I'd have been screaming from every doorstep I could. Listen to me talk.
Oh, man.
But for real, man, like, it's been a blessing, man. Like, this year alone, like I said last night, like, this year alone has matured me on levels I've never seen, mentally, spiritually, and financially. Like, I learned this year, like, without a shadow of a doubt, I'm terrible with money, right? Like,
okay.
Let's talk about that for a second. So prior years to this, the max I've ever made was 34,000, right? 35 depending max. This year, when I actually did my numbers, I blew 20,000.
Oh, wow.
Think about it. Like, I went from making 34 a year to blowing 20,000. I can't recall what I did with it. Yo, my accountant was like, "Are you serious, bro? Like, you can't tell me where $20,000 is at?" I really can't. I got 2 kids. I don't know. I don't have receipts, right? So this year I had to learn, man. It was a learning experience, like everything.
Gotcha. So, like, who are some of the people or some of the groups that you collaborated with, as a result of your platform?
Ah man, it's been an awesome experience so far. I want to shout out to all my entrepreneurial endeavor friends out there. Shout out to David Shands in the Morning Meetup. That's one of like the first and foremost places that really opened my eyes up. And also, before I give a shout out to him, I can't do it without giving to my big brother and my homie Mike Williams, because if it wasn't for him, right, I would not be where I am in my stage of business right now. So right now,
Mhm.
watching King Big Brother, I appreciate you. I love you from the bottom of my heart. And I'm literally riding your coattail because I'm looking up, I'm moving, I'm following behind every move you make. So everything that Mike Williams has told me to do since I've actually jumped on this bandwagon, I've been really doing. And it brought me into a lot of situations. I've got a chance to meet a lot of individuals that I would never ever get to meet. You know what I'm saying? Like
Mhm.
just recently, like I said, I had Dewan. He's a man that works right hand with Eric Thomas. Come on my podcast.
Mhm.
I'm about to have Casanova, the big time podcast dude, on my podcast in January. Like
Nice.
it just happens to be. I'm in Clubhouse, like you know what I'm saying. Like I'm a regular little dude out here in these streets, but because I've actually opened my mouth and not been a perfectionist. Number one, I stopped procrastinating and I got out of my own way. These
Mhm.
doors are opening, and it's almost scary because the things I was lacking before, people are calling my phone to do for free.
Mhm.
Yo, I have a few young men that are across the country like, yo, can I edit your podcast for you? All I want is the experience. I'm a college kid that want the experience. I'm like, so it's true what they say. If you do the work, the help will come. So I want
Yeah.
to take this
Yeah.
moment opportunity to say any entrepreneur out there, even if you have a 9 to 5, stick with your 9 to 5 and build your business afterwards. But do not sit around and make excuses. Do the work and the help will come. I can promise you that. I am living proof. Hear me and hear my heart when I tell you this. If I would have known what I've known now, I wouldn't have waited this long to get started. So do me a favor and your future a favor and start right now. That thing that keeps you up at night, work on it. That thing that makes you go crazy and frustrate you because you can't do it all the time, like the way you want to, just do it. Do it ugly. Shout out to Jose. Do it ugly. And just get it done, man, the best way you can. And God will send the help.
Definitely, definitely. We got into that last night when we were doing the marketer cipher, and just trying to tell people, like, there's never a perfect time. Like, get that out of your head. And it also goes along with what we're talking about now with sharing your story. Like, there's never a perfect time. Your first book isn't going to be a New York bestseller. Your first podcast isn't going to have 1 million views. Your first IG live isn't going to get you 1 million followers. But there's somebody out there that needs to hear what you have to say. There's somebody out there that can learn from what you've been through and what you've experienced. Like, just start. All you got to do is just start. you know um Sometimes it's a matter of, like RJD just said, getting out your own way.
Yeah.
We get this thing in our heads that, oh, I have to have this equipment, I have to have this light, I have to have this microphone because I saw such and such with it on their podcast. Hey, I know people started with a cell phone.
I'm
A cell
telling you.
phone and got in a quiet room. Like, that's all you got.
Yo,
If
listen, you don't need, like, put it like this. Like, let's say, I'm gonna even bail somebody out even further. Let's say that you're one of the people that just don't want to do with the phone, because I think I was a part of that crew that just didn't want to do the simple way. I wanted to make it a little more jazzier. Listen, on Amazon right now, currently, you can get the same mic that I'm using for $45, right? Plug
mm,
it into your laptop. Start your podcast. Yo, there is no excuse in 2020 heading into 2021 and the information age that we're living in, while you're having questions and it's causing you to have analysis paralysis. You have to do the work. Nothing's going to fall in your lap. How do I know?
definitely.
I've been waiting for it a long time. And guess what? My lap is empty. Do the work.
Yeah. Like, when you just start and you start sharing your vibe, sharing your story, sharing your energy, putting out good content, the universe is going to respond. Like, that's what social media is all about.
Mm-hmm.
you know we're a part of a whole different webcast, and none of us have ever met, but yet we've built an amazing, webcast that's every other week. We got mad followers on our Facebook page, and we've just been able to create this spider web and network with people all over the map and help entrepreneurs and people that are already established in business as well to get going. So just start. Like we can't drill that enough. Just start. For those that are saying, oh well, I want to write a book, but I don't know what to do. Just start. Start with a blog, start with just writing down in your notepad. Start with, I mean, hell, do like Eminem used to do, right on the back of a McDonald's bag, like whatever the case is.
Yes.
Just start.
Yes.
And it'll all come together when it's supposed to. I'm telling you, if you put out the right energy.
I can even help for people that want to write a book, right? See, I count myself as not one of the brightest in the book. And also shout out to Coach Love too. I love you too, Queen. That at the end of the day, like, yo, I wrote my book. I'm gonna tell you a secret. Don't tell nobody, right? Based upon one of my Instagram posts. Shh, don't tell nobody. Like literally, my 5 E's in my book is literally on my Instagram. Still go buy the book, though. Don't play with me. Go buy the book, right? But yo, it's that simple though. In a nutshell, like you don't have to make it that hard. Like,
yeah,
do the work. Stop making excuses and do the work. Because once you put your head down, right, and this is my theory. Once you put your head down and do the work, you're no longer looking around you. Because it's impossible for you to see anything else when you're looking down. Put your head down and don't worry about nobody else. The reason we have a hard time doing the work is because we're so worried about looking at somebody else's, right? Like people say, oh, the grass is greener on the other side. In no actuality, anybody's grass will be greener than yours if you sit around and watch theirs all day and don't take care of yours. Water your grass. Feed your grass. Nurture yours. Stop worrying about anybody else, because by the time you look up, if you do the work, they'll be admiring your grass.
Facts. And with that one, we're going to pause for one more second to take another quick break, and we'll be right back. This break is brought to you by Breakthrough Kings.
Yo, let me tell you, I'm catching up, big homie. I got some more homework to do.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back to the Successes Within Reach podcast, episode 10. Someone that needs to hear your story. Here with RJD, the imperfect gentleman. I appreciate that, Coach Love. She said these videos are fire.
Yo, I'm telling you, that's what I was talking about. I gotta step my game up. I told you, every time I make a move, I'm making one. I'm telling you, I'm not gonna let my fire, y'all. I'm not playing in these streets.
Hey, let's get it. All right, this question is a real serious question. What advice would you give to someone listening that's faced adversity, survived some type of trauma, overcome the odds, and they're struggling with whether or not they want to share their story? A lot of people feel like, oh, everybody doesn't know that this has happened to me, or they feel ashamed because of what they've overcome, or, they don't want to be ridiculed, or maybe they just don't want to relive it. What advice would you give to someone that's in that position about sharing their story and they're, on the edge, trying to figure out whether they want to or not?
First and foremost, I'm gonna say, like I said in my last post, if you're driven by results or money in life, like I'm learning a lot about this assessment. If you're driven by that, first and foremost, transparency is the new currency, believe it or not. The more you are transparent about who you are and what you do, your bag will increase. Like you don't even understand the inquiries I got already since last night, 2 nights ago, of that airing of that live that I got about just being mentor, like being a mentor to people's kids now, like to people's young men. They want to know, like, yo, how can they get in contact with me just because I was vulnerable enough to share my story? So what I'm going to say is, first and foremost, if you're not ready to share your story, I'm not going to say share it yet. What I'm going to say is continue to do the work, because there's still some work that needs to be done. There's still some personal development that needs to transpire. Why? Because number one, your transparency will be easy once you leveled up. Once you level up past that situation, it's easy for you to say, "Oh, I've been through this," right? Because you're not worried about who's judging you because you've already done the personal work. You've already done the development because your mindset is on, "I've been through that already. That's my past. That's why I'm here," right?
Mm-hmm.
We didn't get to where we are right now just by osmosis. It took years. It took hardships, situations, circumstances. We are the accumulated sum of everything we've been through and every decision we made. We are the sum of right now. So with that being stated, if you are in something that you are currently in and you don't want to talk about that, I get it because it hurts. But what you have to realize is you being selfish, number one, and you're causing somebody else out there, you don't know who they are, to also delay in their deliverance or their breakthrough. So you got to remember, you are somebody else's breakthrough. Your story is somebody else's hope that they can get through what they're going through. Now, I'm not going to push you, but what I'm going to say is don't be selfish and don't hinder somebody else's blessing, because you helping somebody else is the blessing for you as well.
Oh man, that was a word in itself right there. I definitely got to agree with you on this one. I understand for a lot of people the layers, I'll say, of their hurt and of their trauma. Some of us will never be able to understand or process. However, I do think that you haven't come this far just to come this far. You
Facts.
know, I think that you were able to make it through that abuse. You were able to make it through that domestic violence. You were able to make it through that going broke. You were able to make it through being homeless, being jobless. You were able to make it through that disease that had you in ICU for how many ever weeks or how many ever months.
Mm-hmm.
You were able to make it through losing a child. You were able to make it through losing, your parents and or your spouse. You made it through that for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because a lot of people, it took them out.
Yes.
So
Oh
you got
my
to think. So when you think about it full circle, a lot of people it took out, but it didn't take you out, and there's
Come
a
on.
reason for that.
Come on.
There's a reason for that, and I think that reason is it's for you to share it to help somebody else come out of that, so that it doesn't take them out. See, it's easy for those that have never experienced what you are going through to say, "Oh, I'm gonna pray for you,"
Mm.
or the cliche thing on social media. People just type up thoughts and prayers, which I absolutely hate. You know, but it's a whole nother story when somebody says, "No, I actually know where you are. I actually know what you're going through because guess what? I've been there. Let
Yes.
me share with you how I made it over the hump. Let me share with you how I made it over this hill." You never know what your trauma is going to, or I'm not going to say what, but I'll say how it's going to help somebody else later down the road. You
Absolutely.
know, it may help them today, it may help them tomorrow, it may help them 5 years from now. Like I said, a little while ago, a young lady that I met at a conference was saying somebody DM'd her and was saying they were going to commit suicide until they aired her post
Mm.
about how she overcame her domestic violence situation with her ex-husband. You just never know who's watching and who, the man upstairs is going to send your way.
Mm-hmm.
You never know what somebody's going through. So as best you can, if you've gone through therapy, if you've gone through self-healing and you're at a point where you can, put it in a book, put it in a podcast, start a blog, start a support group, whatever the case may be,
Yeah.
please share your story because you never know. There are too many people out here hurting with nowhere to go. With
Facts.
nowhere to go, no one to help them, nobody to talk to. Everybody doesn't have siblings. Everybody doesn't have a huge social media following. There's some people that's just out here alone, and
Facts.
you never know. You may save someone's life.
You don't realize is that your words either bring life, right? Like your words bring life. So if somebody hears you and say that you've made it through something, that gives them an opportunity to have hope. And if we boil down to life, what life is all about, life is hope, right? Life is
Hmm.
hope to see the next day. Life is hope to see your family succeed to be the next level. Hope is what we drive on. So
Yeah.
if you deny somebody this story, that you're not giving them the hope to make it through it. Because my pastor used to say something back in the day that used to get everybody all riled up, but it's the truth. What you've been through, somebody's dead over.
Yeah.
What you've been through, somebody's in the casket right now about.
Yeah.
Somebody's in the psych ward for the same mental thing you got through. But you got through it. You got through it.
Yeah.
It's so much more bigger than you because remember, reach one, teach one, right? So guess what? You tell your story, you help somebody else. You get them off of the ledge. Now,
Hmm.
guess what? That young lady that was on the ledge, I guarantee you her story is going to be, I heard somebody's content that got me off of this ledge. That story is going to help somebody else off the ledge.
Yeah.
You just don't know how far the impact can go, but that's not your job to know that. What your job is to do is to open your mouth and get the story out there. Because I said this last night, and I'm going to continue to say this. Whatever you're going through, somebody either wrote a book about, they're doing a podcast about,
Hmm.
they're on television, they've done something. There's some sort of literature, some sort of content somewhere to help you, practical steps somewhere to get you through the level you're on. I can guarantee you that.
Yeah. And I mean, for those that struggle with the, um, I don't want people to know that, I went through this, or I don't want people to know, that such and such happened to me. Think about it. You can write an anonymous blog. People do it every day. There's several blogs where people use, just anonymous, or they come up with another name. Nobody has to know that it's you. However, your story, your words, your encouragement, your breakthrough can still be helping someone else. So, you can think about it from that aspect as well. But like I said, just can't stress enough, man, how much we're here to help evoke change in this world. Like I honestly believe that everybody walking the face of this earth is here to figure out what their gift is, use their gift, and use what their experiences and what they've been through in life to enhance someone else's life in some capacity and evoke some type of change in this world. If you just keep it all to yourself, are you living or are you existing?
Mm, Joe, like, and I just thought about it too. Like, yo, do you understand the power in community after a story is being told? Like, yo, think about our ancestors. They used to sit around a fire, right? They sat around and
Hmm.
told stories. Like those stories is what got people through. Like
Yeah.
it's so crazy when you realize how simple life is and how complex we've made it. We really came through life through the communication of our stories and our testimonies from the beginning of time. It's a proven
Yeah.
method, guys. It's a proven method. And this is, I want to also say this too, to the Black community, to the minority community. Listen, if you're having a hard time talking, right, go talk to a professional. It's not corny. It's not whack. It's not
Yeah.
stupid. It's not for the lames. It's not for the fools. It's not for the idiots. It's for people who need to talk and be healed. We're all individuals. We're not just men and women. We're individuals. We're individual souls and spirits and individuality. And we need help, right? You can't hold things in bottled up because I'm telling you, it's gonna kill you. You
Yeah.
gotta let it out. So open your mouth, man. Just let it out. But I
Gotta.
feel like somebody out there tonight. Let it out.
Hey, I mean, that's real talk though. Like you
Yeah.
gotta address your mental health, man. Gotta address mental health. Like you said, therapy. We gotta get rid of that stigma about therapy, man. Like it's forget that whole, like you said, that is corny or is this, that, and the third. Fam, I'm telling you, it is one of the best decisions I ever made in my life when I started going. Like, I'm telling you, man, some stuff in life, you just gotta find somebody that can help you put that puzzle together, map it all out, lay it all on the table so you can get that release and move on in life. Like some stuff you have to find somebody to help you let it go because imploding is one of the worst things ever. I'm
And then it
telling
hurts
you.
everybody around. That imploding don't help
Exactly.
nobody. It hurts you and the people around you. And let me help somebody
Exactly.
out there also. Let me break something down because like I think my gift is all has been that my brain don't is not as complex as your CEO. Like I live on a very basic and very basic stage, right? I boil everything down to its bottom form. Now, what therapist is a person that asks you why. That's it. They just ask you questions to make you talk. A therapist is not somebody that makes you go through these emotional changes. They just ask you why. They ask you questions. They bring things to you that they make you address things that you hide from yourself. That's really it. A lot of times, I think that people when they hear therapist or let me go see a therapist or let me go talk to one, like they get kind of like weirded out by it. But in no actuality,
Hmm.
the person's just asking you questions to get things out of you that you've already suppressed and tried to hide from yourself. That's really the
Yeah.
basis of a therapist. They're not there to make you feel weird. They're not there to make you feel ashamed. They're there to help you on a professional level. That is it. It's a professional
And you
friend.
know, real quick while we on this topic, fellas, cut the nonsense when it come to therapy, bro. They
Mm,
make NFL players do it, NBA players do it, MLB players do it. Hell, UFC fighters got to go through it. Soldiers need to go through it. Like, fam, like I said, we got to get rid of those stigmas, man.
yes.
And once you get that healing from within, then you can start using your gifts. Then you can start using your story to help others, help heal others, help empower others, help inspire others, help motivate others. You know, we wouldn't be the coaches that we are right now if no one ever helped us out. And all we did was just implode off of everything we've been through. I
And we still
promise
getting up right now.
you.
I'm literally still being. I have a therapist, and I'm still like just recently on my own podcast. I got a therapy session. I'm building every single day. You know, like
Yeah,
if your coach is first of all, put it like this: if your coach is coaching you and he's not learning or she's not learning every day, it's time for you to get a new coach.
yeah.
So now you know that right now.
Yeah, I used to tell people all the time if your coach has doesn't have a coach or your coach has never had a therapist, find somebody else.
Facts.
Real talk,
They
because
gonna lead to
because
crazy places, man.
yeah, because that lets you know that they put themselves on this perfect platform
Mm,
that doesn't exist, and they can't fully help you with your life, with your business, with your relationship, whatever the case may be, if they are refusing to deal with their own stuff. You
facts.
know. All right. So as we get ready to wrap up, I want to ask you what's next for you and how are you closing out 2020 to transition into 2021? I ask this, of everyone that's on here. Let the people know what you're working on, what you got coming up, where they can find you, what projects you got, and the whole 9 yards.
All right, all right. Well, like I like to do it from the top, positive energy and good vibration from me to you. This is RJD, the Imperfect Gentleman. And listen, I am a confidence and character building coach for gentlemen. I help men identify and destroy false narratives while using the art system, right? Helping men, one man at a time with class, style, and confidence. My next movement for 2021 is to take it over. I'm telling y'all, if y'all think y'all getting tired of my face now, wait till you see me 2021. I'm gonna be in the living room couch by the time I'm done. Um,
Oh man.
and all my business is on hyperdrive. If you want to find me on my podcast, I'm on a lot of them, believe it, and I'm not going to stop. The Start Now podcast every Friday night at 10 p.m. on Instagram and Facebook. On Sundays at 7 o'clock p.m., you can find me on the Imperfect Fathers podcast, me and 3 other individuals, helping fathers, empowering them, and helping them get over the issues that they have currently. And also the new podcast, that's the Imperfect Gentleman podcast. That's the one where I'll be interviewing all gentlemen who have made a change in their life to become the men they are today. So CEO, you will be on that one as well, King.
Hey, let me know.
um, yeah, I have my book out as well, Imperfect Actions. Go get that. Hit the link in my bio on my Instagram page, rjd.imperfectgentleman.com. I'm sorry, Imperfect Gentleman. And that's my Imperfect Actions book. It's the 5 steps that I use to take my mind from a survival mindset to a thriving mindset. That book is up there. It's a great read. It's for the gentlemen specifically. Ladies, if you want to read, if you want to get your son a copy, I can definitely say it's a great read for a young man, especially if he feels stuck, he doesn't understand who he is in life or where he is. It's a perfect Christmas gift to give him. It'll be out on Christmas Day, as a matter of fact. So pre-order the book right now, so it could be a nice order gift on Christmas Day for a young man. And last but not least, you can find me on Instagram at RJD, Imperfect Gentleman, and let me know what you feel about me. Let me know if you love me, if you hate me. I'm cool, because guess what? I have developed into an individual I am, and I don't care about what you think about me anymore. I do not look for validation. I am validated. I am a man, and I move forward my life, and I'm helping young men conquer their inner secrets as well. Thank y'all.
My man. All right, I like that. I like that. And once again, I'm your host, Shannon Smith. You can find me on Instagram at the underscore CEO underscore within. You can find me here Thursdays on the Successes Within Reach podcast at 8 p.m. Eastern. I'm at www.facebook.com/SIWR podcast. I am a business consultant, success coach, entrepreneur development coach as well. I own the CEO Within You. And what we do is provide innovative solutions to both entrepreneurs and corporate clients, focusing on growth, efficiency, branding, profitability, and marketing. If you need a website built, you need designs built, you want to launch a business, you want to launch a nonprofit, hit me up. www.theceowithinyou.com. I also have a new book that just came out. You can find it on my online store. It's called Cultivating Intentional Business Relationships, Network with a Purpose, where I teach you how to not only find the proper business relationships, but also how to cultivate them, how to work the room at networking events, how to properly email people, how to properly follow up with people, how to properly message people on social media, and also how to ask the proper questions to get people to join your business, to join your group, to join your projects as well. I want to say again, shout out. I appreciate that. Say I bought my copy.
We
I
appreciate
want to
y'all.
say
Indeed.
shout out to everybody that's been rocking with us here in season one. This has been awesome just to even see. We're here at episode 10 and we just getting started, man. Like it's just crazy the growth that this show has gotten. I
Proud of
want
you,
to thank
G.
everybody. I
Absolutely.
appreciate that. I want to thank everybody, my Twitter family, my Facebook family, as well as those that are, tuning in every week on Anchor or Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Like, it's crazy. Spotify just sent the wrap up to show how many countries that, the podcast has been in. I didn't even know I had people tuning in Germany every week. Like,
Wow.
it's just
That's
crazy, man.
dope.
Like I knew about, of course, the U.S. and Canada and South Africa and Australia, but seeing this people in Puerto Rico and Germany and all of these now, like it's just bananas, man.
From your crib, man.
But
Right? Like how weird enough
hey,
is that? Like yo, I was telling my wife, I'm sorry, I know we're about to get up out of here, but my wife was just talking about this. 5 years from now, y'all, when we think about what COVID has birthed. I hope you on the other side of that fence with us. I pray that you guys are with us because we're going.
yeah, and only getting started, and only getting started, man. Only getting started. Appreciate that. Coach Love said, awesome. Congratulations on a phenomenal season one. I appreciate that. Once again, this is the Successes Within Reach podcast, where we remind you that you were not born to be good, you were born to be great. We see you next Thursday, and with that, we say peace and be blessed.
Peace.